You're muted, Rick.
You're muted, Rick.
Thank you all. Thank you, David, Rorschach, Mona, and you wonderful poets. In times of political strife, I reflect on this ancient Zen proverb that I characterize this way. It's called maybe, maybe not. The old horse farmer had a lot, and on it he kept his horses he liked a lot. The son and he would train the horses and put them through their proper courses. One day, when out their hut they strode to care for the horses as they always should, they found a horse of theirs was missing, and the people from the village offered condolence, for they thought the farmer suffered in this unlucky listing. Too bad, so sad, they shared his misery. An awful burden you suffer thisly. 'Tis premature, the farmer said. I suffer, come by later after supper. It's premature to count calamities. Each change is pregnant and rich with uncounted, yet not impossible vanities. They pondered the farmer's peculiar counsel and wondered how he could reach such an answer. Later on in the week there appeared the missing horse, and yet another one near. And when one had been lost, now there's two. What a glorious, magnificent luck has come through. The villagers came by to celebrate. Yet the farmer made clear 'tis yet indeterminate. He counseled sagely and nodded toward the horses gravely. Maybe good luck, and yet it's too early to celebrate what may seem to be clear to some quite early. They wandered away in bitter confusion. They came to join in celebration, and yet they found him bemused, friend. The farmer yet was still restrained. He did not celebrate when this extra horse he deemed clearly to gain. It's yet uncertain, good or ill, he reconciled. I'll hold my judgment till we see the pattern changed and rearranged. How this may work out, let us yet be restrained. His son, not content to hold the horses and let them wander, perhaps find reverses, chose to train this new horse who joined the herd, and let it wander thus untrained seemed to him absurd. Yet, as he undertook to train this new mare, she threw him off on the stony, roughy trail. At last, for shame, the villagers worried. How sad it is, your son's storied training skills could not break the young mare's will. And now, alas, his own leg's broken. It is harsh justice the gods have spoken. It's too early, the farmer stated. 'Tis better, let we restrain, and yes, we wet and remain unbaited, should neither proclaim nor our woes related, not celebrate as we our fate yet untreated. It's true my boy has a broken leg, yet far from certain what burdens and sadness therefrom must be there contained. Then the chieftain of the tribe rides into the village, bringing his men inside. He needs his army ready for war. They're rounding up young men to add to the force. If my son was well, he'd be off to war. What terrible battle and war would be there for him in store? As it is, since his leg is broken, he cannot ride. Is this fortune or misfortune? They seem to collide, and yet the neighbors are puzzled. They can't decide. Is this another solemn force astride? And when this kind of piety becomes part of our society, when the neighbors wonder, is it plunder or yet something other? Torn asunder, let us not rush ripe in expectation, only to suffer more in premature pain or joyful lure. I blush to answer, sure. So that's called maybe, maybe not. And then this one, I call this turning in your neighbors in the spirit of Trumpian disaster. Turning in your neighbors. Harsh enough, stretch the cuffs. I sort of like their sofa, like their cars and stuff. Turn them in by lunchtime, grab their favorite chair. They'll be cleaned out by 11. Then they'll be cluttering up the jail. Repudiating humanism. It's a mechanistic age with compulsory church attendance. Public prayer is now all the rage. Everyone wears their AI watcher. Don't leave home without it, Nacho. Even at bedtime, there'll be no more whisper. You better shout about it. Keep your battery all charged up yet. It's only a misdemeanor, don't doubt it. But if you're caught without it, oh dear, you'll learn what it's like when your ears and fingertips will surely feel the burn. When your street block captain checks your record out online, and if you watch refuse to shine, you'll be emailed a hefty fine. No more lawn boys at the neighbors. Gardening done for white folks now by prison labor. All those teachers and professors no longer highfalutin men of letters. No more at college or university. They'll no more think of us, their betters. We emptied them out, got them no more need. The doctors all work for insurance, so if you're poor, you'll need endurance. The whole thing now runs for greed. I turned in all my neighbors. They were a suspicious lot, and when they left, we rounded up all the things they bought. We got great employment surges, centered in a few few select favorite churches. Everyone must sign up for compulsory attendance. No more private morality. You'll never more be friendless. And when the churchy state rightward lurches, you'll see attendance kept in churches. When the church enforces at the door hands out the new commandments, you'll hope he'll sign your churchy list attendance. So many hours of prayer each day, you better get your card stamped by the neighbor anyway. You'll have to buy the leader's picture. It's mandatory now, or else you'll get a lecture. You'll be downloading your prayer history, how fervent are your studies in the latest revision of the sacred Trumptatious mysteries. And have they round up the brown ones and the political media clown ones? The Dems were next, the rhinos hexed. Into the gulags, the proud, profound ones better have their collars stretched. Those college professors were gathered to stand before the state confessors. Each classroom has its Bible belt, and should you, without your homework caught, if only you're offered a hefty bribe, you'll go back safely to your tribe. Schools now renounce formal learning. Didn't you smell those books be burning? Not much left for the discerning student, but carrying prayer books for study isn't prudent. Best be an athlete now. All them art and music lessons are now long lost, and oh boy, and how. Idiocracy, the new ideal. No more transgender surgery. That was never real. No more punishment for perjury. No more stool pigeons with a great reveal. All the January 6th prisoners have been knighted, and all the choral hoodlums were delighted. Once a year they climb the dome to remind us all that Donnie's home.